It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
It's high noon up and down the Wasatch Front, and Scotty and the coach are just getting started.
If your kids these days, you just only know Shaq from inside the NBA, or maybe the later years when he was hopping team to team and was a little out of shape and bigger than he needed to be. You go back and you watch those early 1, 2, 3 years when he was in Orlando, when he was spelt, and that dude changed. You watched him, and you're like, he's changing the game. Shaq changed the game.
With sheer force, and you're exactly right, there was a revolution when Shaq came, no question.
And what we're seeing now is Wemby doing that. Wemby is changing the game of basketball. Not that you can replicate it, because you can't. You can't replicate Wemby, or we'd all be trying to go to the dinosaur DNA with the old dude on the island and trying to recreate. You can't. That dude is one of one.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim Lacombe, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
97.5 The KSL Sports Zone, fired up to chat with Kurt Helin. He'll join us hopefully here in just a moment. Let's go.
That bass line is like Lloyd's voice.
Where are you at on the Clash?
Oh, I love the Clash. I love all that old stuff. I mean, I don't live in it, but...
Yeah. Oh, is that the Ramones? Oh, I thought it was Clash. That's my bad. Yeesh. That's horrible. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I thought you were asking me about the Clash.
I thought I'd help you because we're with this musical guy.
Well, yeah, I know. No, I appreciate it.
I can see him judging.
Yeah, no.
I should have just said that in your ear. So
yeah,
you
should.
You know what? That's my
feel
bad.
free to judge away.
Blitzkrieg Bop.
Yeah. Ramones.
I love the Ramones. Like, I'm more into the Ramones than the Clash.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Joey Ramone. He's like Patrick Kinahan as a lead man, just attitude galore. You know, PK's from New York.
Jersey, yeah.
20 minutes out of the city.
It depends on what's beneficial, whether he's from Jersey.
Who he's talking to.
Or whether he's from Arizona, or whether he's from Utah.
Or L.A.
Well, I don't think he claims Utah one bit.
L.A.
If it's to his advantage, he'll...
Yeah, I don't know.
What's the... Yeah, I was writing for the Daily Breeze.
The Daily Breeze. Yeah.
We would park right next to Dodger Stadium. They had this great... I listen to those guys too, don't you know?
Yeah. You can pick up
every day.
You can pick up some tendencies there. All right, Kurt's expected to join us coming up here in just a moment. I just texted our guy Heath Schroyer, and I'm waiting to hear back. I would love to get Heath on the air with us.
Like, I'm negotiating a deal with David Falk right now. Trying to get a guy out of the NBA.
Would not be surprised whatsoever. All right, so NBA, you've got game one of the Eastern Conference Finals coming up tonight. Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers, after that big Game 7 blowout victory over Detroit, now they punch their ticket as they will be in Madison Square Garden taking on the Knicks. Not a lot of people giving the Cavs a shot here, but after what we've seen from Donovan in Game 7, I don't see why. Look, I will still pick the Knicks, but I don't see why Cleveland can't hang with them a bit.
Well, they won the season series 2-1, and I do think what we saw in Game 7 was the best version of what the Cavs can be. So we'll get Kurt's thoughts on all this. Curious.
Well, here he is, Kurt Helin, NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com. We saw a game that I think a lot of us are going to remember for a long, long time, as Victor just announced his presence in the NBA on a big, big scene last night. So the cheat code is very real, and I don't know how you combat that when you have a performance like that, Kurt.
So can the Jazz trade the number 2 pick to get out of the West for like 5 years?
Ooh, I like that. I like that idea.
Because I'm not sure what else you do. That was him. I mean, the funny, crazy thing is, like, I came out of that and wrote a story today. Like, that kind of announces him as the best player on the planet. Like, he is now, to me, maybe past Jokic and SGA. And if that's the case, he's 22, and if you watch him, he's still experimenting. He's still learning. He hasn't put it all together yet, and he's already this guy. They're such a good and deep team. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is out, so you plug in Dylan Harper, and he's just unbelievable and physical and gets to the rim, and their defense doesn't suffer. And that's just an incredibly well-built team. And I think you get a better Spurs Thunder game next week, but this feels like 7 to me, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Don't you feel like the shot that he hit that we now have learned was 32.3 feet from the basket?
Oh, did they up it? Okay.
Kurt Goldsberry, the nerd himself, said he marked it at 32.3.
Which
that makes a lot more sense, because when I saw the official timeline thing and they said 27, and I'm like,
no,
that was not 3 feet behind the line. That was way more than that. And I think I put it in a story and then pulled it later because I'm like, that's just not right. That's some hometown cooking from whoever put that in the books, in OKC. But yeah, that shot, that's the thing that makes him, I mean, aside the ability to kind of raise his game up and then find a second wind in the 9 points and a block and 3 rebounds or whatever it was in the second overtime, when everybody on the floor was just gassed, is part of it. But there's just not anybody like that who can, hey, game's on the line. You know what we need is a pull-up 3. I'm the 7'4" guy. I'm just going to take the ball over half court and pull up from 32 feet.
Like it was nothing. Like he was shooting it. For most guys, it was like a restricted area.
It wasn't
shot.
an end of a shot clock. It wasn't a desperation heave. Just, you know what? Oh, I'm open. All right, I'll crank this thing.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was obviously, it's been compared to Curry a lot, but it's Curry or Thompson-esque in the sense that, like, you're just comfortable. Like, I can hit that. I can knock that down and tie the game, and it ended up forcing that second overtime. It was head shaking at the time. Yeah, I'm at home. I haven't traveled to this series yet. I'll do that probably later in the series. And my wife came into the room like, "What happened? Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I was just reacting. Sorry."
There's just certain moments where I think all of us will just remember. And to me, to your point, like, it was great and it was an awesome game and there were so many awesome moments in that game. But I came away a little depressed because it's like, hey, I think the window for a lot of teams in the NBA just slammed shut because San Antonio just said, hey, even if we don't beat Oklahoma City in this series, we're going to win a lot of titles, and good luck trying to win an MVP for the next 5 or 6 years because our guy's going to lock that down too.
Yeah, he's going to pull the Olajuwon double more than a few times next year. And if you're betting against him for Defensive Player of the Year, by the way, now you're just betting against him playing 65 games.
Yeah.
That's the only bet. Literally the only bet. That's going to be a challenge. I mean, things change fast in the NBA, and look, the salary cap's coming for the Thunder in the next couple of years, but they've also got, 13 first-round picks in the next 6 years, something like that. Like, it's just, they've set themselves up well, and that's a really obviously smart front office in San Antonio that has been through this before, in a sense, different salary cap, different structures, but has maintained was it 20 years with Duncan? They were just unbelievable. Like, how much, I forget, it was 50 plus wins it was in the teens at least. I'm going to forget how many years in a row it was, where it's just like, no, you just bank on them for that. And they know how to structure that long term.
You've been to San Antonio, I assume, for a game this year.
Yep.
Where do they park the spaceship? Where does he park his spaceship? Is there like spaceship parking?
You guys have both been. Have you guys? I mean,
yeah, I've been there. Yes.
Maybe get to begin to the L zone, but if you go out, it's harder to find an arena not near anything in the NBA more than that.
So you're saying it's the crop circles out there, huh? It's the crop circles.
Crop circles are. I mean, if the media entrance is often in the back of the arena, sort of by the horse stables.
Got you.
Because of the rodeo and everything back there, and if the wind's blowing the right day, it's a magical experience to go around the back end of that arena.
They're making sure that they appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, It's by the way, it's also, if Greg Popovich is the one coach who's like, if I could put an arena in the middle of nowhere, where would I put it? Because it wasn't designed to have an urban sprawl around it like the modern ones.
So, look, you saw what San Antonio, they're willing to give up threes to Caruso to make sure that Shea doesn't go off, and there were still moments that Shea was able to get his shots off. But do you like the defensive pressure that San Antonio came with to try to take Shea out of the game as much as possible?
It worked largely, and it worked. Frankly, it worked relatively well for the Lakers, who have, we'll be polite, lesser defenders on that roster than the Spurs. It was effective in getting the ball out of his hands. It's just against the Lakers, other guys stepped up and hit open shots, and AJ Mitchell went off for 20 plus a night, and he and Chet combined for I think 12 points on 14 shots. They both had off nights. They've both got to be better. But I also think outside of Caruso, they also just missed open looks. They don't really miss that much. Maybe it's the moment, maybe rust, maybe feeling a little rushed, because again, these are better defenders charging out, bigger, longer defenders charging out at them. But Jared McCain missed a bunch, Chet missed a bunch, where you just normally they drain those. And I don't think you're going to get that again. I think you're going to get them doing a better job starting him off ball, but getting him momentum in a place he wants it, and then they can get him downhill and run him off some Iverson screens and whatever that was effective at the end of that game. And then the other things they can do to get guys going, but I don't think they're going to shoot that badly again. Also, they're going to be desperate in game 2 because they know, right? Like, it's really early to call it a must win, but that's kind of a must win, guys.
The shocking part to me about the stat sheet was that the Spurs actually gave up 28 points on turnovers last night, and Castle had his fair share. He had 11 of them, which, those young guys are in this for the first time, and it's different. But just speak about the play of Castle and Harper and the fact that this is the youngest starting lineup in conference finals history going back to 70-71.
Yeah, they did it without Fox. I think that the turnover issue probably goes down next game. He's expected to return. If that's the case, some of those go away. But I don't know how that Castle's been doing that all year, and Harper's shown flashes of it, but he is so strong going to the rim. He is just so physically strong and big and 6'5", but just can bully his way inside if you switch on him, is quick enough to get around guys. And I was joking in my group chat with some NBA people, like, all right, how many picks are the Spurs going to have to attach to Fox's salary to trade him in 2 years? Because they got to re-sign everybody else. And Fox was their other all-star this year, and he might be the least of them at this point of the 3 guards. So Castle has really matured in his decision making, and I thought he'd be really good. He was one of my favorites in that last draft, and I didn't think he'd be this good. Like, he's just unbelievably, like, his decision, although he had the turnovers, like, his decision making and his handles and stuff are just fantastic. And it helps when you have the ability to throw. There's a certain gravity to, I can just throw a lob about 12 feet in the air.
Oh yeah.
13 feet in the air, and some guy will just grab,
He threw some creative ones last night too. Got up in the air and bought time. He was really good. Yeah, and that little backwards alley-oop dunk thing is almost a signature of Wemby now. He does that, I don't want to say every game, but he does it a lot.
If you were building a team, obviously there's no more Wembys out there, and if they are, that's great, but you're not going to be able to find another one of him. But if you were building a team that was comprised of certain skill sets to try to combat that as much as possible, what would you be looking for?
I think you need depth of defenders and physical defenders. And if you look who was, and this isn't just last night, but last night was a good example of it. The best defenders on him sometimes, like, nobody is tall enough to bother his shot at the top, right? And the guys who tend to give him more trouble right now, and this may change in a year or two, are the Alex Carusos and Lou Dortz, and Jalen Williams struggled this year, but in this game a little bit against him, but has had better games in the past. For guys who are just shorter, but can body him a little. Julius Randle last series, right? Just nobody's stopping his shot when he releases it, like up there or fades away. But don't let him get to the rim and dunk, and maybe front him a little and pick your spots and throw different looks at him. And I thought there were moments where the Thunder did that really well. It didn't matter. And again, he had the guys around him stepping up too. Like it helped. You can only focus on him so much when Castle and Harper are getting downhill and doing whatever they want.
The plus minus to when Wemby's on and off the floor seems like this is where OKC's really got to make hay. Last night, when he was on, they were plus 16. He's off, they were minus 9. I'm just curious your thought on how they can attack that more. I saw the minute he left the floor, they started attacking the rim, but they probably need to be more intentional about that.
They were started to be last night. I think you're going to see that more, and also I think you're going to see them keep Shea on the floor, which I think they did more. And I'd have to look back and look. I think they did more, and it seemed like they did more in the fourth quarter or later when he was off. Just because you need, like you said, you need to win. It's kind of, this was the case with Jokic for a few years. Like you've got to win those minutes and win them big because you're probably not winning the one when he's on. And so if you when he comes off, you've got to keep your best downhill attackers out there. Let them start getting to the rim. And I think, again, if they double Shea in that situation and Luke Cornett's the guy back there, then Jalen Williams and everybody else, AJ Mitchell, have to get to the rim and start scoring inside, and they have to win those minutes big. Because, like you said, winning the minutes when he's on the court are going to be difficult. He's going to be he's 49 minutes is more minutes than he's ever played, and it's every other day now. It's going to be interesting to see if he tires out and other bigs, and who feels a little worn from that first game.
Well, San Antonio does have the tight rotation, and you had Wemby playing 49. Vassell played 51. So obviously, you're not anticipating double overtime games, but these guys are playing heavy minutes, and it's a pretty, for all intents and purposes, a 7-man rotation. Could that catch up with San Antonio?
I think a little bit, yeah. And by the way, it's, as you guys know, and everybody listening knows, it's not 49 or 51 regular season.
No.
Like these are far more intense, far more physical, far more draining minutes. So I think that could catch up, and I forget now exactly. Again, I'd have to look. It was 10 or 11 guys that Dagnall played in the first quarter.
Yeah,
like he just had everybody out there. So I think that depth, I think, helps them in the long term in this series, and that depth of attack, right? Like what makes them so difficult to beat is their versatility. They can just beat you so many different ways, and that's going to be put to the test in this series.
Got the Eastern Conference Finals starting tonight, and happy for Donovan Mitchell. He really did have an incredible game 7, which led, started with him distributing the ball. Do you think that's something that they'll lean on a little bit more here as they face the Knicks?
Yeah, they're going to need an all-out performance, but from here, I think Donovan's got to be really good. James Harden has got to win them a game or two. And he's fully capable, by the way. He's so up and down in the playoffs. Like, we tend to focus on his bad games because they're ill-timed and spectacular. And frankly, he was batting. His numbers in Game 7 were terrible. It just didn't matter. But they need him to win them a game or two. They need Mobley on Cat. Mobley and Allen, frankly, on Cat is critical because the Knicks are running all their offense through him now. So if they're using him as the hub, and you can slow him, then that becomes critical. Like I don't know where you guys are on this, because I'm happy for Donovan too. I really want to see him do well, and I think they've got a chance in the series. On paper, they're capable of winning this series. The Cavaliers are the most talented team left in the East. They don't bring it every night.
Yeah.
They don't bring that intensity and that energy and that focus game in and game out, all of them. And it's not, I don't, say what you will about the Knicks. They're going to bring it. They're going to completely bring it in every game of the series. So I just think that I just can't trust the Cavaliers to if they Game 7 Cavaliers, and I think I heard Coach talk about this right before I came on. Game 7 Cavaliers can absolutely beat the Knicks. How many times do I get Game 7 Cavaliers in this series? Like I don't trust them, and I didn't pick them because I don't trust them enough to pick them.
We had our guy Sam Merrill on yesterday, and after he had that 23 points, and it seems like when they get in distribution mode, they're really tough to beat, and Donovan seemed to play into that if he can just channel that. But that's a big if, because we've seen various stages of Donovan in the playoffs, and good Donovan is great Donovan. Bad Donovan is pretty bad.
Yeah, and I think that's what they had hoped for with, hey, if he's – assuming OG Anunoby is healthy, which is another key in the series, hamstrings are hamstrings, right? But if he's back, like they say, and he's himself, he's going to be on Donovan. He's going to make Donovan's life difficult. That's a very good perimeter defender. That's where having Harden and shooters like Merrill around, like you've got to have the ball moving and other guys scoring. And by the way, Mobley is capable of being that guy offensively on a good day too. They are going to need, like I said, they're going to need all of it. And I think that Merrill and maybe Wade are going to play big roles in this series because Dean Wade, and by the way, whoever's broadcasting the game, it's Dean Wade. Do not call him D Wade. We've already got one of those. We don't need another one. They're going to hide Brunson on Wade, and he's got to step up and make plays in that situation.
We had a pronunciation today for Victor because it is all over the place. I just said, make it simple. It's Wembanyama. Easy. But I hear I hear Kumbaya. I mean, I hear all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, all sorts of sometimes Wemby is just quicker.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's funny. I never looked at the pronunciation guide because unlike Scotty here, I don't have to do the broadcast, so I don't get sucked down that rabbit hole occasionally. I've
just been called Lancome one too many times. I appreciate
Lancome.
I'd like to have Lancome's cash.
Lancome. Well, my wife would like to talk to you about your cosmetic line.
Yes. Here, I can. We'll work something out.
So, did anything jump out at you at the combine that surprised you with height, with measurements, or anything like that may have you second guessing how that first 4 or 5 picks may go, or was it pretty much what you expected?
I don't think it tends not to affect the top few guys that much, just because everybody's seen them. Plus, in the case of all of them, they've already been through Nike Hoop Summit and Peach Jam, or run down the list of major events, let alone their colleges that measured them. So I don't think there was a surprise. DeBonsa with the 42-inch vertical, I think that was a reminder of just how athletic he is and how much that helped his cause. The one name that I kept hearing a few times was Dave Mara, the center out of Michigan. He came in with his height. I mean, second longest. He tied Zach Edey for second longest wingspan ever behind Taco Fall, which is, I guess they didn't measure Wemby. But I guess did he not go to they didn't do the measurements then? I don't know for everybody, but his size coming in at that size and the fact that he is mobile, right? He moves well for a big man. I think that was the one number that a few people were like, wow, he's a little bigger than I thought. Maybe I think he secured his spot in the top. It gets a little weird after about 9, but 12 probably, because somebody's going to want a center, and if they can get one there who's that big and can have that kind of impact in the paint, and there's a lot of teams that could use a Zach Edey.
Yeah, well, and when you've got guys like Edey or even Walker Kessler to a certain extent, what we saw last night, there might be more of a priority on that. Some guy that's just has a big body that can just be lean on Wemby for a time during a game.
You're going to have to start. I mean, we've seen this in the past with Shaq Kobe Lakers or other teams where you're like other teams in the conference are going to start having to think about how do we get past them? What kind of bodies, what kind of players do we need to try to match up with them, or at least limit, not have Wemby go off every game. And there's only so many of those guys out there, but Kessler is exactly the kind of guy who is big and physical, and he's not going to stop his shot at the top, but can make the dunk a 8-footer. If you can do that, then maybe you lower the percentages a little and help your cause. I don't. Or coach, can you put the rack in a training room and just stretch guys? Is that still illegal?
I actually either that or I told Scotty get a ladder sponsor and just make those part of your court. The field in Houston's got that weird just try to grandfather clause
so
sort of.
You got like Little Giant as a little sticker sponsor on the jersey, and then you have one of those right there in the paint.
Yeah, he's 6'5" till he gets down to the low post ladder and he becomes 7'2" and look him in the eye. That's about the defense. I mean, one thing that will happen, and you're right about this, people will start to respond, and also
Hey, it's your ceiling vent, so I'm dripping. Could be the rain, could be the upstairs bathroom. Yikes. You could hire the guy your neighbor recommended, but I'm pretty sure that's just his cousin. Do we know if he's licensed, or does he just own a ladder?
Listen to your home. Go with Thumbtack. Upload a photo or voice note and we'll diagnose your project and match you with the right pro for the job. Thumbtack. We know homes. Hire the right pro today.
As film continues to happen and he builds more data points and those sorts of things, there will be analytics saying here's what you need to beat them. And I do believe the Jazz are on the right track from a length perspective, because I think that's what you're going to need to have, and I think their rebuild has been very mindful of that.
I think the one thing we've seen in the league over the last handful of years is big guards, but physicality. You've got to be able to be physical, especially in the playoffs where it's a different game. But length matters. Long guys who can disrupt plays defensively because of their length, who can get their arms in the way of things. Those kind of players become really valuable. And you know how we'll know who those players are in this draft when you get into the teens, because the Thunder will draft them.
Yes, exactly.
Follow their lead.
Yeah. Hey, Kurt, appreciate it as always. Looking forward to chatting with you next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it, guys. Take care.
There he is, Kurt Helin, NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com. You bring up a really good point, too. Like, sometimes we see something like last night and we're like, we're doomed. It's over. Why even try? When in reality, these are pretty smart guys out there, and they do a good job of knowing how to adjust accordingly. We've seen, great teams in the NFL all of a sudden come back down to earth pretty quick, because there's a lot of smart minds out there trying to figure out how to provide some kryptonite to what we saw last night.
Yeah, and it is our tendency when we see something, particularly a first game in a series, we already know how it's going to end. This thing's going to have so many twists and turns, and as dominant as Wemby looked last night, he may have a tough night. So, again, the key element is, and Kurt hit on it too, is length. And you got to have it. Certainly the Jazz didn't have it for a spell when they had Conley, Mitchell, Royce O'Neal. I mean, those were your 1, 2, 3. You were so small and so not you don't take up much of the court. That's changed a ton. And so that will play to the Jazz advantage.
If you've ever wondered why Dante Exum gets shot after shot after shot after shot in the league, is because he has crazy length. And he's got a crazy wingspan. And so everybody was willing to give him every opportunity he could be to stay healthy out there, because his body type is just so rare. And so if you wonder, how's this guy sticking around, or how's this guy still popping up? Because he has some DNA that you don't see out of guys.
Yeah, and, to his credit, when he did come back the last stint, he was making shots now, and so I was happy if they could at least have a little bit of a good stretch, but injuries will define his career, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, 12:33, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Big thanks, as always, to Kurt Helin for joining us right here on the Zone.
The coach, Tim Lacombe, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama.
It's all about Victor today. After a crazy performance like that.
Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, that does sound like I don't know, like an Old Spice commercial, or I'm trying to figure out, like, it's got like a weird vibe to it.
The thing I like about that guy, he sounds like a tour guide I had when we were in France.
Oh, yeah?
The man with the, what's that mask? The man with the broken mask. The man with the something mask.
The Iron Mask?
The Iron Mask.
Iron.
The man with the Iron Mask. We toured that little spot, and he sounds like that guy.
By the way, not a fan of Paris. Like,
you didn't like Paris?
I didn't like Paris.
That's because you didn't feel welcomed.
I was not welcomed at all.
No, that usually has a big part to
I
do
got
with
treated very poorly. Like, look, I understand. Like, when people see me, they're like, oh, that's an ugly American on many levels. And, you know, I was mad because they weren't putting ice in my Diet Coke. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, it was very...
Started chanting, USA.
Yeah, it was a very unfriendly city. And then I went down to Spain. Love Spain.
Welcoming.
Next European vacation, nothing but Spain. Just spending the whole time in Spain.
I was working to Portugal, too.
Yeah, okay. I don't hate
mother
that.
country.
Good people there.
Yeah.
From what we hear.
Well,
The Offspring, not so good.
yeah. The originals, yes.
Originals, yes, the OGs.
OGs.
Once you mix in a little Portuguese with American, then things get south. You dilute the water a little bit. It's not great.
I actually was really liked Paris from wow.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
I know.
like
It's
that
crazy
part.
beautiful. Yeah.
But I don't need to go back.
People were painting. Yeah, they were rough.
Hidden Gem,
Yes.
Denmark.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Get there. It's awesome. Went there back in my art agent days,
Yes.
and we brokered a deal with the Danish government and had a sculpture put in over there. So I went over, and they have the coolest amusement park right in the middle of town called Tivoli. And just it's one of the coolest places. Like, I want to go back there and hang out. It's just got a chill vibe.
See, that's the thing. I just want to go somewhere where there's not a ton of tourists and just chill. Just have fun. Just experience life. I love the fact that Spain, man, nobody does anything until like 10 a.m. It's like a ghost town. We got into a city like around 8:30, 9 a.m., and you would have thought it was like 2 a.m.
That's because the city doesn't come alive until like midnight.
Yeah. And
Tapas.
but then 10 a.m. hit, and it was like, everybody's ready to go. But it's like, hey, we're not waking up at 7. No. We're going to enjoy life. We're going to have ourselves a little siesta. We're going to work a little later in the night, and then we'll wake up when we wake up. But, yeah, nothing's really going to start. It's like when I was in college, I had the 10:30 rule. No classes before 10:30, ever.
I wasn't smart enough to do that. let's see, okay, I could start at 7. You're not considering that's what that means.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so you're way smarter. But that's no surprise.
Nah, not at all.
Did you have paella in
don't.
Spain? The big platter.
Oh, yeah.
Rice.
Yep.
Did you see the ones with the fish laying
Yeah, I did.
with the eyeball looking up at you?
I couldn't quite do that one.
That cured me of the paella.
So now in college hoops, you can make those trips every year.
That's right.
It used to be, every 4 years?
Every 4. So I made 3 of them.
Are they worth it, or is it just a sightseeing thing for coaches and
they're
their
great.
wives?
They're awesome from a perspective of just getting guys more familiar with each other, and then on the court being able to have 10 practices. That was the big kicker, is you felt like you were ahead. You know, like you could do practice 1 through 10, get through all the stuff that you need to get going. And then when you get through that, play, compete, get home, you feel like you're ahead a little bit.
Yeah. And I've heard that it's, especially in this day and age of college athletics, when you're piecemealing a team together every single year, it's pretty good for chemistry too.
Well, the other thing now, I mean, literally go over to Europe and see a guy you're playing against you like and say, we need one more dude, I mean, it's completely different now.
So he's like, but I've played pro ball for a couple. Yeah, guess what? It doesn't matter anymore.
And We got NBA guys coming back twice. Not once, but twice. Come on. Arju Louis.
I don't know how this is working, but it is. So congratulations to LSU. They've somehow cracked the code where they can get guys that have been in the G League and made appearances in the NBA somehow eligible to play college basketball.
It's the DeLorean clause.
No, we're taking him back from when he was 18. You see a 23-year-old. We actually went back in time, grabbed him when he was 18, brought him back up to the future. So it's that kid, not the 23-year-old version of himself.
See the clock? It's right there.
Yeah.
But that's as silly as an explanation. That makes as much sense as what they're telling us. So why not run with it? It's just stupid, man.
It bums me out because it just seems like, okay, everybody's so scared to death of lawsuits, which, I understand. But it's like, you know what? Okay, fine. You promise not to sue? Okay, yeah. Just let him in. Just let him in. Whatever. It's fine. It's like, this guy made over $1 million. One of these guys made over $1 million playing overseas last year. And now you're saying he can play college basketball? Whatever happened to a kid that is scraping together a few quarters to try to pay for gas that's taken 12 credits and still trying to play college basketball at the same time? Like, I understand kids should be making money off their name, image, and likeness. I am all for that. But, man, where we're at now, it's a cluster, to say the least.
Notice how nobody's talking about GPA anymore?
Oh, no. Nobody cares about that nonsense because nobody's actually going to class.
Why?
You take a few online classes, and that's it.
We recommend basket weaving and writing your name. Those two classes I think you'll do well in.
I mean, North Carolina created classes just so guys could not have to go to class. Like, the class was like, you don't have to come to this 101.
And got away with it.
And got away with it. Did not, and the best thing, this is how you attack the NCAA these days. You just say, it didn't happen. No, what you're saying is wrong. You never admit guilt to the NCAA. Never, ever, ever admit guilt. Just say, no, you're wrong. That's what North Carolina did. It's like, no, that's not the case. Well, we want to talk to the people. No, do you have a subpoena? No, and you're not going to talk to anybody. So, and the NCAA is like, well, nothing we can do about that.
A lot of easy A's.
I mean, honestly, right? Like the worst thing you can do is say, yeah, we admit that something happened here, and we have our self-imposed penalties.
Then they throw the book at you.
Then they throw the book at you. But if you just argue and lie the whole time, like a 12-year-old kid, just deny. I hate it, man. I hate it. All right, 1246, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, we'll get back to the NBA. We'll get back to what to expect in the Eastern Conference Final. Game 1 coming up tonight right here on the Zone.
The Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaCombe, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Love me some Eagles. Let's go. Seven Bridges Road.
I got to see the actual Eagles about a year before Glenn passed.
Oh, okay.
At Delta Center.
Yeah, I remember
Coach
that.
Rose and his wife. It was awesome. They appeal to a lot of different genres, and they play it all so well. The harmonies.
Yeah, and look, they've got the Hell Freezes Over tour in the mid-'90s was
epic,
awesome, absolutely incredible. Got the group back together again, even got Don Henley, and they made peace for a little bit, and incredible. Highly recommend all you kids out there, go get that Hell Freezes Over album.
There's an awesome documentary actually about it too.
Oh yeah,
look that up.
Yep,
because it gets real.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like anything in life. You're around each other, you drive each other nuts, then you break up, and then you find a way to figure it out. Then you break up again, and then people start dying.
I don't know. We don't know yet. We're not to that point in the story. We haven't gotten that far.
Oh, man. All right, so you look across what's going on right now in terms of the NBA, in terms of the NBA draft. This feels like now that the combine's over, it's kind of the calm before the storm. But make just because things aren't being publicly talked about right now, privately things are moving pretty frantically behind the scenes in terms of scheduling workouts, things going on, and everybody's keeping a very tight lip, as they should, As much as I would love to know exactly who's coming in, how that workout went, all that stuff, it's going to be a vault for all these teams trying to keep things under wraps because nobody wants to tip their hand as to what they want to do in that top 4.
And that's a tough thing in this world with everything that we have access to kind of show people where we are on the planet. Oftentimes you'll see somebody coming in to work out and they'll take a picture outside the hotel window in Mark Salt Lake. So you'll be able to see that. But in terms of what the team puts out, it's come a long way from, as you said, major scrums around prospects that would probably never going to play here, but everybody went and spent the time. So it's just a complete change in philosophy, and one where everybody's going to keep their cards close to their vest because this is huge business, and these prospects are, this is the one chance that you can go in there without any kind of deal and just get them. Mm-hmm. So you got to be right about this.
How much what's the most important part of one of these workouts? Is it the actual workout itself, or is it the interview and just being around the guy?
I think depending on how you have your board and how you've structured that and what's the priority, each thing's going to be different. You certainly want them to measure up on the court, but you've got so much data that say these guys, particularly where the Jazz are drafting, do. I think the biggest differentiator is going to be the character piece, as always. The time spent talking basketball. Sometimes you don't even think about this, but just like in anything, there are some people that are more studious about their craft than others. Some people are just naturally, they show up and it happens. Others have to really work at it. And the one thing about any of these guys is, they're going to work at their craft. So the priorities these teams have, like shooting the basketball, for instance, they come in and how do they answer that? And then even better, if it doesn't go well, you can read a lot from that interaction afterwards. Are they hard on themselves? Are they always think the next one's going in? That's the guy you want. I think that's Sammy Merrill to a T. He could go through a spurt where he missed a couple, but when the money's on the table, that dude was going to make the shot. And so those are the little intangibles you're looking at through this process.
And I know a lot of teams love to, let's say they got a kid in late the night, do an early morning workout just to see how he handles a little adversity. I know that there was some teams out there that would schedule college players to come in for a workout that they had no interest in whatsoever in drafting, but they knew they were just kind of they like to, be uber physical. So they bring in these physical, essentially goons to come in and try to rough up these prospects that they were interested in, just see how they would handle that kind of adversity and being pushed around and shoved around and a guy not backing down at all. And so I remember Ty Wesley played up at Utah State, got a lot of workouts because they knew that's the kind of player he'd be. Like, he wasn't going to get drafted, but they just like to see that physicality go up against other prospects and see how they respond to it.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant, and no doubt every team's got what they do. I would say it's probably less in the scheme of trying to play games with these guys as it is to really get some real-time data, because you're not around these guys enough to see closely in a locker room how they handle things. Here, you can throw a couple of wrinkles in the workout and see how that plays with them. So many things at play, but I go back to the conversation I had way back when with Danny Ainge about how he approaches this thing and how big the mind is in this and how he's got people on staff just to help break down some of the social stuff and some of the intelligence stuff, because that's all plays a part in it. Some guys hit the ground running faster with information than others. So you're processing all that.
I would also advise any kid out there that's like 13, 14, 15, and you're showing some ability, I would say take your social media and either scrub it or delete it altogether, because what you tweet out at 14, 15 could very well come back and haunt you at 20, 21, 22 years old. And it's happened time and time again. Just be smart with your social media, because these teams doing their due diligence, they're going to dig through all of that. Every little thing, any digital footprint you've ever left behind, they're on it because they don't want to be surprised by anything.
Nope. And your friend groups, don't be surprised they start calling friends. Maybe girls that you've dated.
Ex-girlfriends, yeah.
How did he treat you? All that stuff. So, again, not to try to trick anybody, but actually not to be tricked. The teams do not want to get tricked. So there is an extensive process, and each team has, as I said, the priority. So as these guys come in, of course you want them to play great while they're here. Of course you want them to shoot the ball great, but will a day where somebody comes in and just doesn't shoot the ball well, is that a wasted day? No, because there's so much more to that visit, and you already know what kind of prospect they are, to the point where having a bad day shooting is just being normal.
And plus, you have your doctors and your trainers check them inside and out. Yeah.
And the biggest thing, honestly, the medical story, to be able to get into the details of Darren Peterson with his people and ask questions more than just what's been put out, be able to dig into that, because that's going to be a big part of how he's seen and where he'll be picked.
All right, coming up next, we had a chance to chat with Sam Merrill on the heels of Game 1 coming up tonight. You'll hear from Sammy coming up next, 97.5, the EKSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.